Hello, everyone. Welcome to Successful Exit Strategies for IT, MSPs, and Software Enterprises. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jason Price with the IAMCP Southern California chapter. And we're really glad to have somebody here to speak on this topic today, cashing out all the work that we have been doing for so long, preparing for that. It's a proactive approach. And this gentleman brings a lot of experience to bear. Fred Babaee, he is an experienced business development officer with a proven track record in scaling MSPs, 32 years of experience in operations, in sales, and business development. And he's got a lot of track record to call right there for small and medium-sized companies. More importantly, Fred, as long as I've been in this organization, I keep seeing Fred. He is a longstanding member of our board of directors here in SoCal. You probably have seen him on one of our podcasts. He chairs the partnering committee, and he's also a core member of our fundraising committee, busy putting together our pickleball fundraiser. It's coming up September 18th. Maybe he'll squeeze something in to say about that. But I do want to make sure that as he imparts all this information to you, that you bring up all of your questions. So if you have any of them, please click that raise hand button. Bring that yellow hand up to the top. I'll make sure to address that with him. Maybe we can unmute your mic, or you can drop them into chat. Be happy to field them there as well. So without further ado, let's stop listening to me and let's turn around and listen to Fred Babaee. Fred.
Thank you so much, Jason, for such a warm introduction. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, joining this event. This is going to be very educational, very much in terms of you worked so hard to get where you are, and now if you're ready to sell your business, how can you sell your business with profit and successfully? So my name is Fred Babaee. I am a growth CEO, advisor, and a founder of B2B Sales Accelerator. Over the last 30 years, I've sort of been on the both side of the table here in terms of growing a business and also then selling the business. And I've been in multiple M&A in the last 32 years or so. And now I work hands-on with MSP and technology companies that are looking to scale, grow from a number of different ways, either from sales to marketing. We provide strategy towards that. If they're ready to sell now, we have a good team that can put the right financials of your business together, get you in front of the right buyers. And if you're not ready, you want to scale and grow your business, we can do that. And then go on and get you in front of the right buyers. Usually takes about, if you say you're ready, it could take anywhere from 6, 9, 12, 18 to 2 years almost to get you ready. But I wanted to also introduce you to some of my team members here. I think we have Greg here. Greg, a lot more experience in terms of financials and in terms of how he analyzed the financial side of your business. He's been doing a number of M&A in the last, I think, 40 years or so. So welcome, Greg. Thank you for being here. I have Red here also. Red is another team member of ours who brings in a lot of experience in terms of relationship he has with buyers who are either family owned or private equity owned. And he really helps on getting the right buyer to look at your business. And I'm sure we have Robert here, who works with me on the marketing side, sales and marketing side. Robert has been around as long as I have in terms of relationship he has with a lot of vendors and distributors and wholesale manufacturers. and he brings a lot of experience in terms of that, and also being able to really get the right marketing, sales and marketing strategy for your business. So so we got the introduction out of the way. Let's start with what we have in our presentation. So in this presentation, the things that we are going to cover is what is EBITDA, why it matters for your exit, how EBITDA drives your business valuation and multiples, cash flow management, getting your house in order, financial readiness checklist before approaching buyers, what buyers and investors actually looking for, building a scalable revenue ecosystem to maximize value, go-to-market strategy and demand generation to fuel growth, and the next step. Before I go into the next slide, can I get a show of hand how many managed service providers we have here? How many MSPs? How many of you in software development or technology sector? I guess all of us are in technology. Okay, good. Good. So we got a good group here then. All right. Next, part one is our M&A and EBITDA fundamentals. What is EBITDA? What is the definition of EBITDA? So you got earnings, before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So this is really important. Why is it important? Because this is a part of a business valuation. This is what buyers ask for. Okay, the first thing they ask for is what is the EBITDA of that company look like? And so this is what we do in terms of looking at your financial and see what are the real picture of your financial look like. Greg, do you want to add something here in terms of our audience understanding why this is so important?
Yes, the EBITDA simply shows, how you've been able to manage your business, and what's the potential for a new buyer or merger partner to actually look at this, see how you're doing, and how can they improve it. And most buyers look to be able to increase the value of your company over a 5-year period by 5 to 10 times. But they want a good foundation to start with.
So this is extremely important then, right, Greg, in terms of knowing what your EBITDA, because a lot of owners think that, well, this is my gross profit, so this is what my EBITDA looks like, but that is really not the case, correct?
Right, correct. When we look at EBITDA, we look to see, what is pure business and what is personal business being run through the business, and we separate that out. We also normalize salaries. So if you're an entrepreneur and drawing out a lot more than, say, a professional manager would be doing that, we would normalize to what the industry standard is. So there's ways, I know most people work to minimize their taxes, but there's still, through doing various add backs, we can give a really good picture. The only thing is, whatever we add back needs to be readily identifiable.
Excellent. Red, you have your hands on?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that and say that was good, Greg. Part of coming in and cleaning it up and preparing it ready for sale is to get the EBITDA up as much as possible. If you run a lifestyle business like we all have in the past, it takes some time to get that EBITDA up. It's kind of a catch-22. Nobody wants to pay taxes, but if you want to go to the bank, raise capital, you have to be showing the EBITDA. If you want to sell at your max value, you got to get that EBITDA up. So we all know it's a catch-22, but part of the preparation is in that, and it's not an easy turn. It's a mindset change.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Red and Greg. All right, so the next slide is very important as well. Why is that? It's simply because what is multiplication of what is EBITDA multiplication means in terms of your business. So what I have put in here is that if your EBITDA is below $1 million, you're looking at anywhere from 3 to 5x of your EBITDA. Let's just put a number here. Let's just put, say, $1 million is your EBITDA. You can get as much as $5 million for your business if your EBITDA is at $1 million. Maybe more. Again, it all depends on your recurring revenue. It all depends on how you manage your business. We'll get into that slide later. But again, you can sort of put that in your mind that this is what you will be able to get 3 to 5x on your EBITDA if your EBITDA is below $1 million. Now, if it is over $1 million, up to 10 million, this is really where you are going to get as high as 8x on your EBITDA. So imagine your EBITDA is $10 million and you most likely your revenue is a lot more than that, could be up to 15 to 20 million. Then your business is worth as much as $80 million. If your EBITDA is at between 1 to 10 million. And then goes up from 10 and above, it could be anywhere from 8 to 12x. We've seen some cases where our seller is looking at, I got a pretty good EBITDA, but I want to sell my business based on revenue. That also happens, but very seldom we'll see that to be the case. In most cases, our program is this sort of technology foundation is based on your EBITDA. So that's what this slide is about. Red, go ahead, please. You have your hands up.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. That was perfect. We do see you're right, 100%. We do see the revenue kind of in that $1 to $2 million range people can get based on revenue. But after that, it is really driven by EBITDA. What I was going to add was, if you're focused on, say, mid-market clients, you could get more than 8x in that 1 to 10 million. And then if you have everything buttoned up, and I would say all 10, 11, 12 check marks, right? And it's really hard to get, the EBITDA up over 10 million. But if you do, we've done transactions at 15, 16 times when the market's hot. And that was before the interest rates went up. And then we're seeing it this year. There's a lot of activity and we're seeing an extra turn or two. So I wanted to throw that out there. And also, we've been able to close deals at 6x under $1 million EBITDA, but everything needs to really be buttoned up. It's fine if we're 80% or 85%, we're a B student. We don't have to be perfect, but you can't be 60% right and expect a 5 or 6x. It's just, they're gonna find, and especially when you get into like the PE world, they want to find one thing to pick on to devalue and buy you cheaper. I would say that. Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, and I would add, there is a buyer for every business, and if your EBITDA is below $1 million, don't be shy about getting in front of the buyers, because there are buyers out there who are entertained, even if your EBITDA is at $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. So we can help you and getting you in the front of Ryan. But this is really a standard in M&A industry in terms of multiple, right?
Right.
So I want to get to the next slide because this is really important. This is on your cash flow management, right? And this is extremely important simply because a lot of us, you know, the thing is revenue is up, but cash is always tight. You know, this was my main sort of issue when I had my PC manufacturing business. You know, cash was always tight because we had a huge receivable and payables. Inventory was high, and we really depended on our line of credit to be able to, you know, make sure our cash flow is proper. The slow paying clients, draining working capital, you know, no 13-week cash flow forecast in place, mixing personal and business finances, deferred payment, creating false profit, no visibility into burn rate or runway. So how do you fix that, right? How do we fix that? Problem? Build a 13-week rolling cash flow forecast, tighten accounts receivable, reduce days outstanding, separate personal expense into readily identifiable accounts and treat them as add backs, normalize owner compensation to market rate, typically treated as an add back, clean up any related party transactions, and document all revenue streams and payment terms. This is really important. And I think Greg can add something to that as well, because we just went through selling an MSP not long ago, and there were a lot of add backs that we had to make sure they are real.
Right.
Right.
Yes, and the other thing we had to make sure was their contracts and revenue streams were documented. And that's so important because, and if you negotiate good contracts, that's a big portion up front of getting your cash flow in line, because if you can negotiate a contract where terms are 10 days or they actually pay a month in advance, you're going to end up having great cash flow. And no matter what it is, it's always important to run that 13-week cash flow.
Excellent. I wanted to sort of pause here, see if there are any questions.
There was one in chat, but it looks like Rhett addressed it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Up, Richard has his hand up. Let's see.
Hey, Fred. Great to see you.
Oh, hi, Richard. How are you?
Yeah. So I heard this the other day. It was like 2 weeks ago. I was talking to a partner, and they brought up EBITDA, and I thought it was very strange. They were saying that their CEO had stopped paying third-party vendor invoices. And we're like, well, that's weird. And he said, oh, it's strategy. We're going to drive up our EBITDA. So I'm like, wait, so you're not so you have all this cash on hand, I assume, and you're not paying vendors. And they said it was an EBITDA play. I just want to know if that sounds right, or maybe they know so much and they're thinking about it from a different strategy perspective, right? And now I'm learning about EBITDA. So thank you.
Great question. Great question. I think, what you mentioned here, we have experienced simply because after the LOI is signed, there is a due diligence, a process that the buyer goes with the seller to make sure that the quality of earning is what's supposed to be. So during this due diligence, they'll figure it out.
Well,
Right, Greg? I mean, in terms of the quality of earning, they will figure out, okay, what's going on here in terms of that.
the guys that do quality of earnings are really sharp. They know accounting and they know business. And the point is, if you're not paying your bills, you got huge accounts payable. Well, if you're they'll look at what's your business on accrued income basis. So you didn't increase your EBITDA at all. In fact, all you did was increase your current liabilities. So you weakened your balance sheet, and you didn't change your EBITDA at all. So he must not be putting, he must not have accounts payable on a balance sheet, or if he does, he must not be putting them into the system. And that's the other thing. During a due diligence, they'll be making sure that you're putting in your payables at least weekly, if not daily. And with accounting systems we have today, should be done daily.
Excellent. Is that answer your
stuff.
question, Richard?
Yeah. And the last point was important. Maybe they're just not recording it. So
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Now, this is again a really important slide here in terms of financial readiness. So what the buyers are looking for and what we're looking for when we are advising you in how to sell your business is 3 years of clean, audited, reviewed financials, personal or family expenses in the business are in readily identifiable accounts and documented as add backs. So that needs to be in your financial statement. Customer concentration below 20% for any single clients. So again, that's really important because most of our as a small business is, you've heard of the 80-20. 80% of our business is of our top 20 customers. Clean cap table and corporate structure, normalize EBITDA with add backs, clearly recurring revenue, clearly identified, management team that can operate without the owner. Again, that's extremely important. If the owner is not there, can the business run by itself? I remember I used to take trips, and I always used to call in and say, hey, how's everything going? And my operation manager said, look, you don't have to call. Everything's okay. Business is running. So that's really important. Up-to-date legal, IP, and contracts. So these are really important. Again, these sort of this slide, it's important when you're ready to sell your business. Red, did I have your hands up?
Yeah, I was just going to add on the concentration. When we get up to the higher levels, if you get it down into the single digits, and the closer you can get it to 5 or 6, the better. So more diversification and less concentration. And it really depends if it's SMB or mid-market. So there's some wiggle room there. But just know that that large client, it really hurts when it leaves, but it also can wreck a deal, and then there's holdbacks and things like that. And so, what I would also say is, as you go to sell, if you know someone's going to leave one of your larger clients, you better disclose that, right? A lot of entrepreneurs I've seen will try to hide that and close the deal in a rush, and the buyers are smart enough to know to have a holdback, and it comes out of the holdback. So just want to put that out there as well.
Yeah. Great point, because we had a deal that one of our sellers, I think, lost their second or third largest customer. Not lost it, but the revenue sort of reduced a little bit as the buyer was looking into the quality of earning. And the buyer came back and said, look, I know that your business is good, but you almost losing part of your revenue on your second or third line customer. So we're going to have to come down on the price a little bit. So that's important.
Like it.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. On that particular transaction, they lost 8.5% of their revenue on that client. And the buyer wanted to do a 10% reduction, but we were able to negotiate that back to a 5% reduction. So, so we were just able to prove that the gross profit on that particular client was a lot less than the percentage of sales. And so we were able to get that to only a 5% reduction. I guess the other thing I would mention on the financials, you need to be doing your tax returns, and the tax returns need to be available. And they won't necessarily look at the current year if you haven't done it, but they'll look at a prior couple years. And it should be easy to tie the tax return back to your financials.
Yeah. So the next slide, again, it really relates to all of us who are in managed service business or in SaaS business that are bringing subscription revenue, subscription-based revenue, or recurring revenue in. So what the buyers are looking for, what the investors are looking for, predictable recurring revenue, subscription or contract-based income is worth more than project revenue. This is really important because I've had a client who was doing 3 million in revenue, all project-based. That is not equal in terms of what buyers are looking to pay towards what is the subscription or contract-based income is coming in. A strong EBITDA margin and a clear growth trajectory over the last 3 years. A business that runs without the owner. Management depth is a premium driver. Customer diversification. No single client representing more than 15 to 20% of revenue. Again, this is important too, because I know in my PC manufacturing business, I had one client that was doing 30% of our revenue. That was a big client of ours. And the buyer asked, what happens if they go? You know, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Clean financials with no surprises. Buyers hate discovering issues during due diligence. Documented processes and system, a business that can be transferred, not just purchased. A clear story about why the business will be worth more in 3 to 5 years under new ownership. Because again, the new owner is going to come in and multiply this business, expand this business, grow this business, and package it perhaps and sell it again. That's usually what happens in this market. But it's really important that that business can grow, and they can grow it in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah. Typically, when we work with someone, we will, if they don't have something, we'll help them develop a 3-year to 5-year business plan. And then that allows you've got a definite goal that you'd like to reach. And as long as you're on track, then you'll be in good shape to sell your business at any time. And
Exactly.
we helped a business that was actually little before COVID and during COVID. And because they had a business plan and actually changed their approach to their business, Rhett, you may want to add to this. We were able to have them exit. They were probably worth about $5 million when we started working with them, and they exited in about 2.5 years for $40 million. And
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We executed the 5-year strategic plan in 2.5, 3 years. It's just under 3 years. And they got their EBITDA from 100K to 5.5 million. Granted, their top line was pretty strong, but they were doing a lot of things incorrectly, and we doubled the reoccurring. We did a bunch of things to clean them up. They were originally going to take that EBITDA and buy a bunch of other companies, and they chose to sell. But we bought out a couple shareholders. We raised them $7 million. We were able to do quite a bit in that 2.5-year period.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Very well said.
Fred, there's a question that came in. It's a really good one from Matthew. What about frontier or heavy AI integration? Business that has light overhead due to automation with AI and on the curve of this democratization phase, or is it too early to factor?
I can
No.
jump into that. We're
Yeah,
pretty
go ahead.
heavy
That's perfect business,
in the
actually.
AI space. We'll bring in AI engineers into the channel to help promote, white label, do whatever. But we also work with a company that is integrating AI for the back office into MSPs really successfully. And it is something coming. There are going to be price pressures. You know, I'm not here to sell fear, but this is kind of telecom. And in the early 2000s, I had a telecom company. In 2007, I was more VoIP and started the IT company and sold my IT company in 2015. Missed a little bit of the run up, but my point is when you have telecom, real similar. There was change in technology and it drove down the price. Everything became really price sensitive. The other thing we're seeing from the marketing side is if you don't have your price on the website, it's actually a disadvantage. AI chatbots will not recommend you. You know, if you rely on digital leads, will not recommend you without price because they don't trust you. They say we can't analyze it. We can't put you up next to the other three people that we're going to recommend. And so it puts it at a significant disadvantage. So there's a lot of things to that question, but it's definitely going to change the curve. And I would say fairly fast. I'm working in and around guys that have 100 MSPs. You know, some guys, you know, have $100 million to spend. They're bringing AI from the enterprise on down. So it is something. And my terminology has been, if you don't want to evolve, then it's probably time to talk exit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could add something, if you go back, you know, into the 70s and 80s, when basically everything was done by hand, and we had the advent of computers into the business world, people that adopted that very early grew their businesses very successfully and had successful exits. People that didn't went out of business. And that's what's going to happen with AI. If you don't adopt, you'll end up going out of business.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's different than cloud. Yeah.
Excellent. This is again a really important slide here. You should always be building your business as if you are going to sell it tomorrow, even if you plan to keep it forever. The discipline required to sell is the same discipline required to scale. Again, it's a really a true statement here because I had to go through the same thing. You know, when day one, you don't think about selling your business, but as you continue to grow and scale your business, then you have to think about the exit strategy. You have to think about when and how you can sell your business. The part two, again, is a building a scalable revenue ecosystem. So this is my recommendation in terms of building revenue and business value. We talked about the M&A side. We talked about EBITDA. We talked about how to get you properly in front of the buyer. But you got to be able to do all this stuff too before that, right? In my view, focus on organic growth first. Paid acquisition inflates cost and compresses margins, right? Because we all know if we were to pay too much on the advertisement side, our net profit will go down. So I always think of focus on growth, on organic growth first. Make sure that you build your digital foundation, content, asset, LinkedIn presence before outreach. Engage your existing network for immediate revenue and low-hanging fruits opportunity. And that's what I always tell my clients. It says, let's look in the low-hanging fruits. Let's look at the organic growth first before we actually start paying too much money towards advertisement. Develop a clear point of view and promote it to build brand visibility and thought leadership. Increase, execute visibility, drive and frame the conversation in your market. Scale through people, culture, and engagement, not just tactics. Think big and dominate your niche before expanding. So there's a lot of things here. I think Red and Robert can say some things about this, because this is, again, what we do best in terms of growing your business, in terms of making sure you're not spending too much money in growing your business, and at the same time making sure that your revenue is to where buyers are looking, in terms of the right revenue that the buyers are looking for. Right. Any questions on this? Okay. So go-to-market strategy, there are a number of pillars here, and there are valuations related to that. Market and audience research. Define your ideal customer profile. This ICP is extremely important. You've got to know who your target and customer profile is. Messaging and positioning. Craft compelling outreach. What we always do for our clients is we build a campaign for them. This campaign could consist of email, LinkedIn outreach, social media outreach, organic outreach, and the messaging around all these campaigns is very important. What is your message? What is your company message? What do you think your message should be to your clients that you can get their attention? Automation and execution, LinkedIn and email campaign, just talked about it. Tracking and optimization. Monitor and improve conversations, reporting and insight, data-driven decisions. Why go-to-market matters for valuation. Why? Because again, the buyer is going to look at, what is your strategy of growth? What are your digital asset looks like, right? Predictable pipeline increase business value significantly. So again, the pipeline of your growth is extremely important. Documented go-to-market systems or assets buyers pay a premium for. Revenue diversification across channels reduce risks. A proven sales process transfers to new ownership cleanly. Consistent lead flow shows buyers the business can grow. So again, consistent lead flow shows buyers how the business can grow. Again, this is another important part of the scaling your business. Multi-channel outreach, build in a full funnel. Again, this is what we do in terms of making sure that your business can continue to grow. Email sequences, warm outreach, follow-ups, and lead nurturing, and using tools like Apollo. LinkedIn automation, targeted connection, message sequences, and content to grow reach. Sales Navigator, this is a tool I use all the time. Precision prospecting to find the right decision makers at the right time. Networking and association, again, another good part, making sure you're there. Networking, C-level introduction in industry events and referral programs. Reseller and channel partner program, extend reach without adding headcount. Again, this is another part where Robert and I work really hard, because that's what we focused on in the last 32 years, building the right channel partner program for our clients. Content and thought leadership, posts, newsletter, case studies, and attract inbounds. This is really, I think, this multi-channel outreach, once you think about, a lot of us in the technology and MSP space, we are good at what we do. Trust me, I was the same way. I knew how to run the business, but a lot of things that I'm stating here, I wasn't even thinking about it, right? We were sending email, but it wasn't really targeted towards the right clients. We were doing LinkedIn, but it wasn't really a proper messaging on the LinkedIn stuff that we send out. Again, all these things are extremely important that in terms of growth of your business. The number that drives M&A outcomes, 3x to 12x, EBITDA multiples, typical range for small to mid-market business sales, 3 to 12x. Trust me, this is really true. 80% of deals falls apart due to poor financials, preparation or surprises in due diligence, 2 months to year, as I said at the beginning of our meeting here, prep time needed range from 2 months to 2 years, depending on readiness when we meet. And then 30% plus value premium, business with recurring revenue command over competitors, right? This is, again, this
Yep.
is so important. I think Red can add something to this as well in terms of how this slide looks like.
Yeah, no, I really like the slide, Fred. Thank you. There's a lot of things that go into this, right? And we can learn as much as possible. You know, I did a lot of M&A before I sold out to my business partner, a lot of education, and I have regrets, right? I didn't hire someone. I had a lawyer, had an accountant. I didn't hire an expert. I'm like, I can do this. Well, I spoke at a local university in March, and that's MBA students were putting it on. They'd done the research, and their research came out at 31% more when you hire an advisor to really dig down in the weeds, coach you, change mindset. Look at that. And so the slide that they put on the screen was, hey, if the guy's going to offer, 4 or 5%, you still walk away with 25, 26% more on average, granted. Some guys pull it off just fine. And I have yet to meet an entrepreneur that says I have zero regrets. I'm super happy I didn't make a mistake when they've sold it themselves, and me included. So, that was part of my journey. I wrote out my non-compete, non-solicit, got into investment banking, didn't really like investment banking from start to finish. I'm going back in and working in the IT technical space, but going to do a lot more partnering. So that's what we do today. But at this point, there's a lot of weeds to get down into. I think it's a good slide to highlight a ton, but there's a lot of things that factor into this. But you're right, Fred. The value premiums go way up. Doing the right things at the right time. Sometimes there's just not enough time to polish everything up.
Yeah, very well.
You have anything else, Greg?
Yeah, I was just going to say, a lot of times when you get into EBITDA discussion, the buyer will break down and say, well, I'll pay a certain amount, maybe 6 times for this recurring. I'm talking small business. The non-recurring, just project revenue, only pay 2 times, and so you end up with a blended that depending on how much your business is recurring versus just project, and the more project, the more it's going to bring down that multiple of EBITDA that we can get. So anyway, that's one thing to look at when you're looking at your company, is how much is truly just project income, and when it's done, it's done. And working to transition either to a contract that's repeatable every year, or the recurring revenue.
You're very well said too. In terms of having the right advisor on your side, you may leave a lot of money on the table if you don't have a right advisor on your side. And I've seen it happen. To be
Yes.
honest with you,
And Fred,
yeah.
Fred, tell him the Randy story. I mean, you and
Oh.
Greg brought me the Randy, and didn't we almost double, if not more than double, finding
Oh,
the
yeah.
right buyer,
Yeah.
and let you guys clean it up for a few months? Yeah.
Yeah, he was looking to get 3.5 million for his business. And when we got him 5 million, he was saying, look, I owe you guys a good old Southern barbecue now because
Plus he has equity
Plus a
left
little
in the
more.
company, so
yeah,
he might end up with $7 or $8 million. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it really makes a big difference, you know, when you have a right advisor on your side. So I highly recommend, if you're thinking of selling, hire the right people on your side for selling your business. Right? Hire us. That's what we do best. So what is the next step, right? Your next step, audit your EBITDA and identify all add backs. Get 3 years of financials, clean and normalized. Again, we can help you on that as well. Greg has done a great job in making sure you analyze your financials, you know, build or strengthen your recurring revenue base. Again, you know, it's very important. If you have contracts that are month to month, it's okay, but let's get this into a year, 2-3 year contract where you have recurring revenue set solid on the books for next 3 years, and that's what makes you look really good in front of buyers. Document your processes so the business runs without you. Start your go-to-market engine now. Pipeline takes time to build. As all of us know, that in the sales cycle is getting longer and longer these days. But having the right go-to-market strategy will help shorten these sales cycles, will help you get in front of the right decision makers. It helps you closing the deal a lot faster.
Yeah.
Very important, the go-to-market engine, part of this business.
100%.
So with all that said, I think I'm done with all my slides. Now I'm going to open it up to you guys with any questions, anything we can answer you. And I can go back to any of these slides that you want me to go to. But I am Jason. I'd like to open it to the audience, see what questions do they have.
Yeah, one just came in again from Richard. In general, is there a time frame for recurring revenue? For example, could it be 90 days or do they want 1-year contracts?
All right, that's really a good question, right? A good question. Thank you, Richard. Red, go ahead. And I think you have a good answer.
So I was going to kind of give you two sides of the spectrum. The reason why Randy was not getting the offers that he really wanted, and we were able to get him the offer, was his contracts in general. He'd sign a 1 year, but then no auto renew, right? So they were all kind of old contracts. He was still growing, but kind of not growing new logos. He was growing the business of the within the clients and raise. And so we ended up getting him more money. Had to be really creative, pick the right buyer, someone that would look past that. The more, the better. Obviously, the month to month and the 1 years are easier to sell, right? I did a month to month agreement with a lot of clients, easier to sell, and it would beat my competition. It was trying to sell a 3 year, right? Definitely hurts on valuation for the 90% of the market, right? There's creative deal structures, but overwhelmingly people do walk away from it if it is 30 to 90 day contracts, even if they're auto renewing. I find that not a lot of people blink their eyes at like a 2 year and definitely not a 3 year, especially if they manage themselves, being auto renewal. But we can usually max value, almost max value at a 1 year, as long as they're being auto renewed and being managed. They're really going to look at churn, right? And then they're also going to look at who owns the relationship. So it's really different. There's many different ways we could go with this question, but they're going to look at a lot of different things that are tied to that. And if two of the things are checked, usually they either take it out in the valuation or they walk away from the deal. So great question.
And his follow-up comment, you might be able to see it. I'll read it here for Fred. So if the CEO sold to all the customers and he leaves, then chances are you can't renew them.
If the CEO, yeah.
Well, I was commenting on like understanding it from like a ability to get new business. If the CEO is involved in all the deals and he's the only one that is building the relationship with the customer, and he's the one landing them right, meeting with them, and then if he happens to leave, I wonder if maybe that's looked upon negatively because he is the one that sold the product, right? And then he's gone. So I don't know.
Yeah. So that is, if the CEO is the face of the company and founder-led sales, and there's really no contracts, that was initially Randy's problem. And Fred and with a long-time relationship and Greg coming in and doing some work, they had to do some convincing. If you stay for a couple years, you can work reduced hours, but if you stay in the face, keep your last name on the business, nothing changes. And it's a smaller town than say Southern California, but that was a perfect example of why he was getting super lowballed to a point where he had $1.3 million in cash and everybody wanted to take his cash on top of the offer, right? So it was actually a subtraction off of what they were showing on their offer, because a lot of buyers out there will leave you the cash because it's kind of your cash, right? You've earned it. But there are two streams of buyers out there, so there's a big differentiator.
Yeah.
And in almost all cases that we worked with, the CEO, the existing CEO, stays with the company for at least a year, if not maybe more, because they need to be a transition involved here in terms of CEO handing over responsibility to the new CEO, or they might even stay even part-time even after a year or two. So we've seen that a lot, but in most cases they will stay around and the buyer wants them to stay for at least a year.
Yeah.
So the transition
Absolutely
can go properly.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
Longer the better to be flexible and to be the face. Even if you stay on the website and you're a consultant that keeps your phone on, the longer the better. The guys that say I want to walk away in 6 to 12 months and be done and wash my hands of it, but they're the face, really the value would be coming out of the contracts because that's what they're buying, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does to me.
Perfect.
Any other questions for Fred and his team?
There's another one in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a comment. Matt and I have been talking about the automation on the back end here. Yeah, if you're truly agentic, your agent needs to have the standards, SOPs, runbooks to act against, and that gives you the document your processes checkbox that you have on your slide there, Fred, like that last slide, and MRR over professional services, productized solutions, transactable.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Let me ask a question then from audience. In terms of in terms of your business and your growth and scalability of your business and your exit planning, how many of you do you think that at some point you're ready to exit your business? Let's see. Matthew is ready. Good. So when you're ready, so in terms of that, you have to have a plan, right? You have to have a exit strategy plan, and then of course then we come up with the right solutions, right? So again, all this takes time. There's a process we have to go through, but like I said, every business that you start and you grow it, you scale it, you gotta have an exit strategy in your plan as well. So yeah, I mean, let us know when you're ready and when you think that you want to scale your business in a way that you want to exit, profitable exit, successful exit. Was there another question in the chat? Let me see. Nope.
No real questions.
No, it was a statement.
Just this back chatter going on.
Got it. Anything else you would like
Talking
to
about the hot
add?
topic of the day, AI.
Yeah. Greg, Red, Robert, anything you guys would like to add here?
No, I thought it was a great presentation, Fred. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
job, Fred.
Yeah, it's
Thank
really
you.
good, Fred. Really good.
Thank you so much. We have the presentation available. We can send it to anybody who likes to have it. Just let us know and we'll email it to you. And I think we have a recording too, right, Jason?
Yeah, we'll push that up onto YouTube.
Oh,
Excellent.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining. See you again at the next IAMCP meeting. Have yourselves a great hump day.
Thank you. Oh, let me say something else too here. Remember, we talked about the pickleball event coming up September 18,
yeah.
was it? Please come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a charity event with the Ronald McDonald House. All the proceeds will go to them. Again, we just want to enjoy, have fun, come in, and if you want to sponsor, we'll have a table for you, and you'll be able to advertise and pitch your product services to the group. But I think we're going to be bringing about 100, 120 people there. We got 12, is it 12 courts, 48 pairs of playing. And if you don't have rackets, we are going to have rackets there for you to play. I play every Sunday, so I'm a really good player. If you want to, just kidding. I play well, but not too good. But it's a fun game. It's a fun game. Should come and join
So
us.
side bets are okay then, Fred?
Side bets. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
Okay.
should be fun. Thank you.
all right.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks,
guys.
gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.